Good evening and salutations, my Y&R fans. So, let's start off with Sharon, Nick, and Faith. Which, by the way, she is actually looking worse, right? Now, I remember them sitting there talking about how the last time she was in the hospital, the whole her getting an infection, which led to her kidney failure and everything like that. So, Nick is not there trying to keep Sharon calm and basically just being like, they just want to make sure that she's good, that she doesn't have any infections or anything like that, that she can go home, just as a, precaution or whatever. Phyllis. The sad thing is that Phyllis' heart is in the right place. But my whole thing is like, you know damn well that Sharon does not like your ass. Right? Sharon don't like you. I get that you want to also be there for Nick. But going to the hospital and visiting Faith is not the best choice. It's not the best thing right now. Because you know how Sharon has been on edge for a while. You think she really needs this? I don't know if Faith is going there. Because I know she wants to sit there and be there for Nick. And also be there for Faith and stuff. But part of me makes it feel like she's going there for Lucy as well. Just to kind of reassure her that, it's not Lucy's fault. One of the things after Faith apologized, which in reality is not the... Okay. On some level, I get what Faith is saying, because like I said before, Faith was the adult. She was the driver. She's the one that took her eyes off the road. It could have ended badly for Faith. It could also ended worse for Lucy. So I understand that she wants to sit there and take responsibility. I don't know if now was the time to do it, being in the hospital and apologizing. This is something that Sharon really didn't want. Sharon was already saying, this isn't your fault. Lucy's dumbass was the one that was out there drinking. Which, by the way, Lucy, from day one, has been a huge pain in the ass. Right? And what annoys me today, and I get it, I understand people are sitting there saying, well, Lucy's a kid, and, she's a child, and, she's just being a kid and everything. She's annoying as all hell. But just to kind of cap off the other part, she apologizes, and Phyllis is like, listen, this is no one's fault. This is just literally an accident. And Sharon overhears this. First of all, when she came there, Sharon practically was like, you can go. You don't need to be here right now. This isn't really a good time for you to be here. Get to stepping, pretty much. And Phyllis, respected that and left. But she didn't really leave. She just started to walk out, and Nick, walked her out and apologized for Sharon's behavior, which I'm just like, Sharon don't need you apologizing for her behavior. Sharon's behavior was more than justified. She didn't sit there and yell at her, curse her out, or anything like that. She was like, now isn't the time. Now, it might have seemed like a little abrupt, but like, Nick, you don't need to apologize for Sharon. Sharon has a mouth, she has a voice. If she wants to apologize for what she said or did, then she will be more than... She can do that. She don't need you to do that. And she didn't really leave anyway. She just sat there and talked to Nick and was just being supportive to Nick. But again, she didn't want you just to leave the room. She wanted you just to leave the whole place in general. That's why one of the things when she saw them, she was like, what do you... she was also jealous. But she did sit there and say, well, Cameron was like, we both know that somebody is to blame for that. She did make sure that she left. She was like, oh, Nick, our daughter's awake. She maybe you sit there and see her. And And Phyllis, what are you still doing here? Also, it was Faith that did call her in there, so I don't understand why Sharon was like Sharon's a little testy, but I'm like, Faith did call her in there. Now again, going to Lucy. Lucy just wants her punishment over with. She was already acting all bratty and bitchy and everything like that when that they decided to take her out for like, food or whatever. And she's just like, oh, what am I doing here or whatever. And then the whole time she was like, all right, well, just give me my punishment and let me just kind of just get it over with. And I'm like, you are partly responsible for Faith being in that damn hospital. And the only thing you're sitting there thinking about is, let me just get my punishment over with? Are you kidding? Are you kidding me? You are walking out the damn hospital. Faith is the one that's still lying in that damn bed, and the only thing you can sit there and think about is, oh, well, let me just sit there and get this over with. So they give her her punishment. Summer eventually gets there. They give her her punishment, which is more than reasonable. And in all reality, is more than reasonable. It's like she does community service. She doesn't do driver's ed. And, she gets a little part-time job or whatever to donate some money to Sharon's foundation. And she gets all pissy and everything like that. I'm just like, she was like, oh, well, can I just go to my room and just be left alone? I was like, good. Because then we don't actually have to see your ass. Hopefully for a very, very, very long time. She also pissed me off. She was being super fake to Lily, but that's a whole nother thing. Billy Boy. Billy Boy is swamped at work. He is pretty much acting like a tyrant to most of his staff. The staff that we don't get to see because of the budget. Katie comes in. Katie had plans with Billy. He seemed like he forgot. He tried to play it off. So you go to lunch. And, she has questions about as far as, being hockey captain or whatever. But Billy's still swamped with work. He's getting calls left and right. I'm like, well, your ass is the one that sat there and fired Lily, so I don't know what to tell you. So he gets calls after calls after calls. And Katie's getting upset. She's annoyed. She's like, listen, if you had time, then you should have just told me and I would have understood. But eventually, he apologizes. He turns off his phone. He listens. He gives great advice. The thing about Billy is that I've heard people sit there and say he's a screw-up. Billy's like a lot of people. Billy is the type of person that can be a great person when he's not getting in his own way. And you see that when he's with his daughter, just giving advice and just being a good father and everything. Meanwhile, you got Chance. Chance is another person who's whining and bitching about his job pretty much. And getting upset that Billy fired Lily and, Billy is, power hungry and this, that, and the third. And sitting there thinking that Billy's eventually going to fire him. Summer, after talking about all the good stuff that's going on in her life, is more or less into saying maybe you should quit. Quit now because you don't know what Billy's going to want up. You don't know what Billy's going to want up doing. And I'm just like, quit to do what? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he quit the force because of the danger and stuff. Even though he was a cop for a while, I felt like this. To this day, I'm always going to sit there and think that this was a bad choice for him just to go into the business world. But he seemed like he has some sort of plan that he's going to execute. So he goes to the office and, he sees Billy and Katie leaves. Now, Billy is sitting there thinking what I'm thinking. Billy's like, so you ready to apologize for overstepping? Which he did, by the way, because and by the way, he also sat there and told Summer about Lily being fired. I'm just like, bro, what the hell are you doing? Like, what are you doing? Why are you sitting there telling her about, stuff that's going on in the company that you probably shouldn't be sitting there doing? So, where is that? Oh, yeah. So he goes to the office, and Billy's like, so you ready to apologize? And he's like, no. And I think he's like, oh, I have a couple of changes or whatever, or something that he has in mind. I'm like, okay, Chance, let's hear what you got to say, even though that you are practically talking to your boss in a way where I feel like, here's the thing, if this was any other company, and he was sitting there challenging like his boss or his manager or whatever, his ass would have been out the door. So I don't really understand what is he doing like at this point. He seems to be somewhat naive about the way that the corporate world works, especially chastising Billy would automatically sit there and get most people fired. I think the only reason why he's still there is because of his last name, if we're going to be honest. Of course, yes, I know the rules could sit there and be applied to Billy, but we're not talking about Billy right now. We're talking about Chance. Chan's ass would have been fired at this point. Now, Summer actually, you know, when she left and, you know, Danny was like, oh, you thought you were being too harsh. And Summer was like, no, I don't think you was actually being hard enough. I was like, really? And she actually had a great idea. She was like, you know, when she used to be a wild child back in the day, she didn't really understand the impact of the stuff that she wound up doing. She was like, Lucy needs to learn that. And one of the ways she was doing it was to write a letter to her, you know, to Faith's family to really kind of read over the stuff that she actually did, and it would sink in more. I know when I do my notes, right, it does actually help me kind of sink in some of the stuff. I don't have to look at my notes as much because it helps me sink in some of the stuff that, you know, that wound up happening. I think that's the same thing that would work for her. Something needs to happen. Also, I think that Sharon may be plotting some sort of revenge on Phyllis. Hell, maybe even Lucy at this point. I know Sharon is the do-gooder and everything like that, but, you know, Sharon is going through a probably mental breakdown, so I'm just saying, I wouldn't put it past it. Anyway, that's pretty much all I have for now. If I missed anything, write it down in the comment section or come to the live stream tonight. 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Hopefully, whenever this video comes out before I do my live stream, this will make sense. If it comes out after, well, then come in when you have time or come in tomorrow. Anyway, with that being said, I'm going to go. I'll see you in the next video.